While every legend can be strong in the right hands, there is no doubt that every season has some picks that are just stronger than others. And in Season 9, it's just no different. Before we move on, you guys probably noticed something on the channel. We've updated our logo. Alright, so we've got a brand new, cleaner logo, and we think it's amazing. We're still the same ProGuides, just with the prettier logo. Hopefully you guys are excited, and with that out of the way, let's get back to the video. What's going on, guys? It's your motivation guy, Keith Allen, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the best legends for Season 9 on World's Edge. We're going to go over the picks that are going to help you win more games, and the ones that may be holding you back. From S tier to D tier, let's get this going. Alright guys, wasting no time, let's hop right into our S tier. Topping the list of legends to help you succeed in Season 9 on World's Edge is Gibraltar. Gibby has been a power pick for quite some time, and the power of his bubble being a big reason why. That hasn't changed here in Season 9, and World's Edge offers a lot of opportunities to cut enemy squads off in choke points using his ultimate. While he may lack the mobility of other legends high on this list, his incredible zone control and ability to protect his teammates in a pinch more than makes up for it. Add to that the addition of the new legend Valkyrie, which Gibby can enable well, and he's a go-to power pick for this season. Alright guys, so speaking of Valkyrie, she's blasted away into Season 9 and into our S tier. With the unique kit that is perfectly suited for World's Edge, it's no wonder that she's at the top of the list. Her jets let her navigate the map easier than any other character in the game, and her ultimate allows her squad to relocate on the map very quickly. When paired with abilities like Gibby's bubble, her ultimate has quickly shown itself to be very strong. She brings a load of disruption with her Q, and she's a recon character, allowing her the use of survey beacons. Valkyrie has hit the sky running, and she is a great addition to any squad here in Season 9. However, she's a new character, so be sure to get some games in on her before jumping into ranked. If you want to get off to a head start and master the character fast, be sure to check out our Ultimate Valkyrie guide. Link will be in the description. Alright guys, so moving along in our S tier, we have the ever-elusive Wraith. Wraith's ability to reposition her team in a discreet and effective way has always been her power point. With the return of World's Edge, Wraith is back on top. Unlike the most recent ranked map, Olympus, World's Edge has a ton of unique structures and obstacles for Wraith to hide her portal, allowing her to always get value out of her ultimate. With the layout of most POIs, Wraith's Q is incredibly strong as well, allowing her to break line of sight with her enemies, reassesses the situation, and heal. It's never too late to become an interdimensional skirmisher, but if you're already a good Wraith, consider bringing her back out this season to win some more games.
Follow my path to win.
Alright guys, so rounding out our S tier, we've got the best tracker in the game, Bloodhound. While they did receive a little nerf to gaining KP on scans, Bloodhound is still just too good to not be in our S tier. Keep in mind, you gotta use the Q a bit smarter on World's Edge, being extra careful to aim the scans to get max distance. Even with this being one of their weaker maps, and the scan not being as effective, Bloodhound's kit is still one of the strongest this season. They're able to gather a ton of info for their team, and can also be the aggressor with Beasts of the Hunt. Bloodhound seems to always be a great pick, and if you're unsure what to play, you can get a lot of value out of them for less effort than a lot of the legends on this list. Alright guys, so moving into the A tier, these are legends that, while their kits fit with the meta currently on World's Edge, and they're very strong, they fall just short of their S tier counterparts. Any of the legends that find themselves in the A tier are a valuable addition to any squad, and in the right hands could easily find themselves in the S tier. Okay, so barely not making the cut into the S tier, it's the adrenaline junkie himself, Octane. With the recent nerfs to his stem and the map rotating to World's Edge, he finds himself landing in the A tier in Season 9. His stem forces you to be a bit more mindful of how often you're using it, as you could easily enter a fight down half your HP bar if you aren't careful. While World's Edge offers Octane a lot of cover to zoom around while his stem is active, you don't get as much use out of his jump pad here. These are some great uses, don't get me wrong, but this isn't Olympus where Octane can launch his team between entire POIs. With all this in mind, Octane is still incredible. After receiving nerfs and moving to a less preferable map, he is still a top tier pick, and if you are a die-hard Octane player, Season 9 will treat you just fine. Don't worry, he'll be back to his prime on Olympus in Split 2 of the season. Alright, so marching her way into the last A tier slot, we have Bangalore. In a very healthy spot in Season 9, Bangalore may be one of the best picks to main this season for players who solo queue. She is incredibly strong on World's Edge, utilizing her smokes and ultimate to have a lot of power and choke points and many of the POIs on the map. Add on her double time passive, and she could be as elusive as an Octane or a Wraith. while having more firepower. Bangalore seems to be overlooked by her more flashy counterparts at the top of this list, but do not make that mistake this season. A skilled Bangalore on World's Edge may be one of the most frightening things in Season 9. Just look at Shiv FPS. Okay, so starting us off in the middle of the pack, Krypto is our first member of the B tier, and high levels of play. Krypto is A or even S tier on World's Edge. His drone allows for an insane amount of info for his team, and his EMP can be a great way to start off fights. World's Edge allows for a lot of hiding places for Krypto to stay safe while operating his drone, and with the map being so vertical, his drone's ability to scan is superior to, say, that of a Bloodhound Q. However, Krypto requires his team to play around him to find success and requires a lot of setup to properly use his abilities. With Bloodhound being able to press Q on the fly and on a rather short cooldown, it makes Krypto a much harder surveillance legend to pull off. Due to this, Krypto struggles in lower levels of play and solo queue. If you're a Krypto main, you're set up for success in Season 9 on World's Edge, and you should keep on just doing your thing. But if you're looking for the best bang for your buck tracking legend, that title still goes to Bloodhound. Next up in the B tier, we have Revenant, another character who suffered on Olympus. Revenant is in a good spot here in Season 9. World's Edge gives Revenant a ton of good hiding places for its ultimate, making 3-man utilities much more possible than last season. With Octane still being meta, the classic death totem into jump pad combo is as strong as ever. Add to that his 20-second silence on his Q, and his kit is looking pretty good this season with the choke points on World's Edge. His ultimate requires a bit of setup, and it can be tough to get good use out of Revenant's abilities in a solo queue environment. But if his squad plays around his totem, and there's good communication, he's a solid pick. Alright, so it may be surprising to find Horizon so far down this list, but after some nerfs to her Q and ultimate, she finds herself here in the B tier. Her Q nerfs are just really what hit her this season, with the cooldown going up, and the speed going down, and the time you're allowed to hover at the top reduced. This ability is a shadow of what it was in Season 8. While it's still strong, it has just much less flexibility and can be used less often. Horizon still brings a lot of value to a team looking for quick high ground when entering a POI or taking a fight, but she no longer has a mini Octane jump pad for a Q. Her black hole can still devastate a team when used correctly, and a good Horizon will still find a lot of success, but she's not the top tier pick she was last season. Alright, so last but certainly not least for the B tier, we have Lifeline. After receiving a bunch of balance changes this season, Lifeline is definitely still strong, but just in different ways. While she doesn't have the resurrection shield many players got used to playing around, she still has her bot for reses and it heals even faster now. Add to that the return of top tier loot from her care package ultimate, and she is still a great pick to have on a squad. Her ability to stabilize fights is still her strong point, forcing enemies who knock one of your squad mates to act fast or risk Lifeline simply resing them for free. With other characters' combat effectiveness just outshining her ability to keep her team alive, Lifeline players have to be savvy and creative to get good use of her kit. But when piloted correctly, she could be a solid pick in Season 9. Moving on to our C tier, we have 2 defense legends, Caustic and Watson. So while one defends with gas and the other electricity, both these legends excel in holding down the fort. Their abilities revolve around zoning enemies off and holding a power position. This being said, guys, these characters can have a hard time actually getting you to a point where you can use their abilities effectively. And with recent changes, nerfing Caustic's damage and Watson's ultimate uptime, these legends are currently a bit underwhelming. Neither of their kits offer any utility to their team unless they're in a defendable position, and even if then, they require a lot of setup and lack the mobility many of the top legends on this list have. Possibly our strongest pick in the C tier, falling just shy of the B tier, is Loba. After receiving a much needed change to her jump drive bracelet, Loba's Q is finally a decent mobility tool. However, with her underwhelming kit and the nerfs to her ultimate cooldown, she has a hard time jumping up this list. Her ultimate can help your team quickly loot POIs, and she doesn't have to worry about her Q bugging on her anymore, but also doesn't bring nearly enough utility that the higher legends on this list do. She's a strong pick for looting, but once you have loot, she can just feel relatively underwhelming. Alright, so rounding out our C tier, we've got your favorite robot, Pathfinder. Okay, so while his zip lines can be an effective way to get you and your squad around the map, it just isn't as strong as an Octane jump pad, a Valkyrie ult, or even a Wraith portal. On top of that, his Q is a shadow of what it used to be, with too long of a cooldown to have it up when you need it. Pathfinder feels nice to have on a squad, but doesn't really feel all that helpful when compared to his counterparts. Sorry, Robot Man. Hopefully Respawn gives you a buff next season. Mirage, Rampart, and Fuse round out the D tier as some of the weaker legends in Season 9. While they each can be useful in the right hands, generally they're just outclassed by their counterparts further up the tiers in every way. Mirage has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, but really doesn't bring anything to his team except the occasional cheeky res. He can be a strong solo legend in the chaotic POIs of World's Edge, ducking in and out of cover and bamboozling his enemies. However, generally speaking, his kit doesn't do a whole lot, and the higher rank you get, the harder it is to pull off any spectacular outplays with his tactical ability and ultimate. Rampart is just too slow. She requires too much setup to use her kit effectively, and even once set up, she's a bit underwhelming. Her barriers can be great for holding down high ground or blocking off doorways in a building, but compared to other legends on this list, she falls short in terms of what she brings to a team. Very rarely will you find yourself in a spot where you say, man, I wish I had a Rampart. And finally, Fuse. While he can deal some good damage in a perfect scenario where he hits all of his abilities, his moves are easy to dodge, have rather low damage, and large cooldowns. His kit is simply not worth the animations, and he could use a serious numbers buff. But hey, launching grenades is pretty cool, and hopefully we see some Fuse buffs that bring him into the meta. Could you imagine his flaming ring of death in pro play? That would be hilarious. So overall, guys, every legend is viable, and if you enjoy and you find success with one that was low on this list, yo, keep grinding. However, if you are looking to improve your game and you find one of your go-to picks is in a lower tier, hey, maybe just try out the legends higher on this list and just see how it goes. Hey guys, if you guys liked the video, make sure you sub to the channel. If you want to connect with me on my Instagram, I would love to connect with you at Your Motivation Guy. Keep grinding, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.